欢迎收听杂物间，
You are listening to the Storage Room,
你最好的口袋朋友。
your best pocket friend.
好，上一节我们跟酷酷侠进行了一个很长又很深刻的一个聊天，关于这个共情能力，它到底该不该有，在职业的场合该不该有这样的一个事情。那我们对酷酷侠其实有大概的一个了解，但是我们依旧不知道酷酷侠是来自于哪里。So JUJU, would you please introduce yourself like more specifically?
Oh, okay. Well, this has always been a quite complicated answer because I'm not from one place. I was born in my mother's hometown in Zhejiang province. And when I was about 2 or 3 years old, I went to live with my grandmother, my father's mother, in Jiangsu. And then I went to school in a different city in Jiangsu. And then after my father was stationed in a different base, he was in the military. The whole family finally moved all together in Wuxi, and that's where I spent the majority of my time, including middle school, high school, college, and adult life. So I normally tell people I'm from Wuxi, but I'm actually from quite a few different places, but mostly Jiangsu and Wuxi. Sorry, Jiangsu and Zhejiang. Yeah, these two places.
So where are you at right now?
I am in Tampa, Florida. Welcome to sunny Florida, guys.
I was going to say you missed the sunny part.
Yes.
So sunny part is
Florida.
Very important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am now living and working in Florida. Yes.
So what brought you to Florida from Wuxi?
My family. I got married to my husband, who is a Floridian, who is from Florida. And after we got married, we were still in China, in Wuxi to be specific. And then he was there for 4 years until our first boy was born. When the baby was 1 year old, we moved to here. And the reason was he couldn't take China anymore. And we still have to find some way to work for our little family. It's an international family, so we have different cultural backgrounds and different languages. So we decided to move here, and I naively thought at that time that it's going to be a piece of cake for me because I already speak the language. I'm going to be able to adjust well. And little did I know, life sometimes is nothing but unexpected surprises. But I've been here for more than 10 years now, and I think I'm finally more comfortable being where I am right now.
Then what is the most memorable thing that happened in the past 10 years?
Well, okay, my younger baby being born, definitely memorable. Me finding Zumba dance class, definitely memorable. I started working for the Chinese school in Tampa Bay area and then met some wonderful Chinese people here, made me feel that I found my people. That's definitely memorable. A lot of the family holidays with my husband's family here is also memorable. Start to do social media and gaining a little bit of influence and sharing my life with the people, mostly from China, is definitely memorable. So yeah, a lot of interest. Oh, and my depression. I went through a phase of depression and I went to see a therapist and got better. That was a critical time of my life as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I would say that at least from our short interaction, we find that you are a sunny person in sunny Florida, right? So would you elaborate a little bit about that depression what triggered it and how did you discover, acknowledge it, and how did you seek out help? Would you elaborate a little bit of that experience?
Yeah. Yes, people might think, oh, you're so happy all the time. But you know what? Like there's the called sunshine depression because you're so happy all the time, but you're like all messed up inside. And I've always felt that. And I think I had a lot of baggage since childhood. And moving to America, to be honest, was a huge step in my life that made me kind of lose my identity. Together with that was my role of being a new mom and raising children kind of just on my own, not just on my own with my husband, of course, but really kind of feeling detached from my culture, my parents also. So there was a time when my younger son was still like 1 or 2 year old, and I just felt such hopelessness in life. I didn't feel life had meaning. I didn't really want to live anymore. The reason I was still living was because I have kids. I can't just, die. So normally I would talk to my husband and he would give me a lot of direction in life. But he couldn't take that anymore. He said, you really need to see someone, and I remember thinking to myself, I have to save myself. This is not going to recover on its own. And I also remember distinctively at the doctor's office when the doctor was asking, how are you doing? And I just started crying. Like, it was so weird. So she was like, have you had any like suicidal thoughts, dark thoughts in the past week? I'm like, yeah. And she, without skipping a heartbeat, like brought me a chart and said, okay, fill this out. If your like number gets more than 6 points or something, or 4, I don't know how many points, we're going to refer you to a psychiatrist and also prescribe something for you to help with your depression or, whatever mental health issues. And I remember they referred me to a therapist, more specifically social worker. And it was funny because in the beginning, when I went to see her, I was so suspicious. Not suspicious. I was so doubtful. I was like, why do you think you can help me? I know everything. I was like arrogant, I guess. I was like theoretically, I know everything. Why do you think you can help me? And she was like, well, I'm going to ask some questions. Okay. And I know what questions to ask. That's what makes me qualified. But I'm not going to give you the answers. You're the one who's going to figure out the answers. And you're the one who's going to come out of this. And she was right. And every time I went there for the first few months, I would just cry so much. Like, there was so much pent up emotions. So I cried myself to recovery, I guess, a little bit. But I did seek out help, and it helped me a few months. I would think 5 years ago now, at least 5 or 6, maybe more than that, 6 years ago. Yeah.
You mentioned something about referral to a psychiatrist. Did you get to see a psychiatrist, and did you take medications?
Good question. I did not go to a psychiatrist, nor did I take the medication because I didn't think I was that bad. Even during my lowest point, I felt I was still mostly myself. I felt like I need to talk to someone. I need someone to listen. I need to be seen, to be heard, and all those things. So a therapist at that time was enough. And the doctor gave me the prescription drugs. I didn't take them. I've always also been a proud person too. Like I think I can handle anything. Like when people say, oh, you're so weak, I'm like, no, I am strong. I'm weak and strong at the same time. I'll cry and I'll freaking do this job and do a good job, So like I'm both of those qualities. So when I know that I am really in need of help, I thought I could handle it. And I just refused to take the drugs. And I think it was okay because I didn't really need it. But I think depression is something that you can conquer once. Doesn't mean it will just go away. You can come back a little bit. But what I have learned is I'm able to see before it gets really, really dark. Like for me, depression is like kind of being in a box, and the dark box gets bigger and bigger, and you get smaller and smaller in a corner. And in my case, it's like there's such vast of empty darkness that I felt I can't escape. And it was a very sad and scary feeling. So now, before I get to that stage in the box, I would remind myself to do some other things to distract myself or to prevent myself from getting there.
There's a difference between depressive mood versus depression itself, right? So, so yeah, I applaud you for in terms of recognizing that you had that kind of emotional imbalance rather than the chemical imbalance. I personally, I have a medical background, but my personal feeling towards drug, that's why I asked the question, is I'm very resisting to chemical treatment. That's why I asked the question. So I probably would have done the same. And also I was very interested in that depression topic is because I personally also went through depression from a different kind of events. and I had the same feeling. I feel like I knew everything. I was perfectly fine. Why am I here? Very proud kind of person. Yeah. So very understanding of what you have gone through.
So that therapist helped you too. And
actually, I was worse because I never went to a therapist. My ex-partner was a counselor, a qualified counselor. So every time I see that, I so resisting of that kind of treatment. So I kind of went through the whole situation myself as my medical background kind of really helped me. So I did a lot of reading, kind of helped me out. But yeah, that's why I'm interested in each person's journey, kind of as you use it, getting out of that box, So I'm typically very interested in that.
So you got out of the box by yourself. Wow, that's
right. But
even harder.
I think,
good for you. Yeah.
But I think you've mentioned something that I would love to do a PSA, right? I don't think that box ever goes away. We just learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
In a way, the depressive mood comes and goes. Sometimes I understood because I try to find reasons, right? We're trying to find reasons. Why am I depressed? Shouldn't I feel like I'm perfectly beautiful? I'm in this beautiful everything, have a beautiful family, beautiful partner, beautiful kids, beautiful parents, beautiful financial situation, beautiful everything. Why am I feel depressed? For no reason. That is like the most depressive thought, is depressive for no reason. So as I learn to cope with it is to understand I'm going to have that. The box is always going to be there, but I need to learn how to coexist with it.
Yeah. I just very recently found this emptiness in life, and I call it my midlife crisis because I'm getting to that point now. I feel it's either early onset menopause or midlife crisis, either one. But I do feel sometimes a little empty and meaningless. Like you said, I shouldn't feel depressed. I should feel happy all the time, but I am not. And I have a beautiful family too. I have everything that I need. I'm so lucky and fortunate, but I still don't feel happy. So then I kind of realized, you know what, that's what life is. Life is not always happy or joyful, but a deeper sense of calm and content, which has really nothing to do with money or status. It almost has it has more to do with your own heart and how you are happy with who you are, and the relationship between you and the world.
And the JUJU we see now is definitely, at least you look like a sunny person, a very sunny and positive and bubbly kind of person, right? I do have another question for the personality that we see right now. Because I went into your stream from time to time, and I could see you explaining things for people, and then you're trying to help people there. And I'm just wondering, where did you get that energy? The patience, and also the patience. Where did you get that?
I guess I take the patience away from the patience that I should have with my children, because I have no patience with my children and have patience with other people. That's a joke, but also kind of sad and true. I don't know. I think it just that's something I like to do. So it doesn't come as a strenuous effort. I did not have to push myself. I really truly enjoy that. And it's not because I'm a good person. There's a funny song literally called "I'm a Good Person," which the whole song is not her being a good person, but it's just funny. It's just that's just something I like to do. If I am made to do something I do not enjoy doing, I would have the least patience. I would not have a happy smile on my face. I would not be able to do it. The only reason I can do it is because I enjoy it. So at the end of the day, I do it for me, for my whatever desire I have, by feeling good. Oh, I help someone, I feel great. But it's also for me to feel great. If I'm not feeling great, I'm not going to do it. I stop my live stream from time to time when I'm not feeling good, when I need time to recover. I was telling this to my friend the other day that one day towards the end of the live stream, I was already very tired, and it takes a lot of brain power, and also like you have to smile and all that. So I was very tired towards the end, and a friend of mine who I know for a while now, and I feel bad for not talking to him. He's been there for a long time, but he was going through something in his life, so he's very down. So that energy was very depleting. Like I just got so tired from that kind of interaction. So I needed a lot of time to recover since that live stream. So for me to do a good job, I need to really keep that balance of, I need to enjoy it, okay, enough to continue doing it. And I need to feel that the work is meaningful because I am helping people. And then some people really have trouble and struggling with speaking English. I need to give them enough time and everything, So yeah, the short answer is, why am I patient? Because I like it. That's it. Yeah.
But I also noticed that you are quite skillful in your live streaming because you have many guests that are lining up either on the mic or below the mic, right? Under the mic, where I think you're skillful of understanding what persons are talking certain things that are either interesting to you, interesting to the audience, making sense. So you are able to provide variation at the same time, limit that kind of, in a way, very mundane conversation. So keep the flow kind of interesting. So I feel like you do have the patience, but you are also very understanding of what the situation and how to deal with it. I think that's a very powerful skill that you have.
Right.
Like 酷酷侠，对。
Yeah, because I get empathy. I have the superpower. I have the superpower, like feeling what people. It's when the dialogue becomes boring, when it stops to be interesting to people. Now everybody's level of boredom is different, right? But I feel kind of there's 有一个中间值嘛，大部分人都开始无聊的时候，我就要停止了。I need to move on to the next one, And sometimes it's like because 就是开盲盒一样 a blind box. You don't know who you're going to talk to. Some people are really fun. Some people like they don't speak good English, but they're really fun personality and just fun to interact. It's fun to watch, fun to listen to. Some people are really boring. There's some people that are really boring. It's so funny. It was like I have to like literally hold my face because I was just like I can't. But I need to manage that, and it's hard work. It's hard work, but I do feel like I'm a people person because of my, I guess, skill in being empathetic. I can feel how the audience is reacting and how the people are reacting. I constantly keep in my mind that this is a public space. I'm speaking in public space, But it's also tricky because when you're being yourself, you are gonna let yourself come out. And it's natural to let yourself come out. It's good to let yourself come out. Because if you're not being real and truthful, people see through it right away. You're being fake, But also you need to be professional. So it's a thing. You need to be professional, but also real, but also professional. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So yeah.
I have a very strange theory about human beings. Sometimes I think human beings are like the phone. You have to charge the phone to get the power, and then the phone could work, right? So human beings are the same. So I was always wondering, like, where did this woman have so much power?
How do you get charged?
Yeah, how do I get charged?
How do you charge yourself? Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I sometimes just go into my backyard and just like stay in the sun and pretend to read a book. Pretend, like literally, I bring a book and I just put it next to me, and I'm like, I'm reading a book. I'm not. But I think staying in nature sometimes is helpful. I really like dancing. I like going to Zumba class, dancing class. That really charges me so much. And I'm so happy. I want to cry sometimes. Like that's like I'm so happy. Very dramatic. I also look up to people and then find inspiration from those people. There are people, like I mentioned very early on, about this family of shop owners. They just make breakfast food, right? They wake up at 3 a.m., crack of the dawn, not even the dawn, just like middle of the night, and they start working. I find energy from these people. I find energy from similar people like you guys, you and Mark. I'm happy that there are people like you guys in this world. There are people that I feel like you're doing what I want to do. You're doing a great job. You're just being you. How wonderful is that? So I find joy in that, and I find charge.
Oh,
so would you describe yourself as more of an introvert or extrovert?
Are you kidding me? I'm like, like there's all these 16
obvious?
personalities. Like all the personality, I'm ESFP. It's the highest of extrovert possible. It's like the crazy 人来疯就是那个在海底捞就开始唱，就是所有的烦恼说拜拜like 自动加入陌生人唱歌的那种人 like that's me
真的吗？真的吗？确实啊，有的时候你在视频上的那些就是跳舞啊、唱歌啊，不知道为什么我至少就是我当然知道哈，每个人都有多面性啊，但是我总觉得就是不是我想象中的JUJU，我觉得JUJU就是可能有一种所谓的女神的这种框架嘛，
对，高知女性，
对，然后就是你要被坐在那里供养的那种，然后你在唱唱跳跳的时候，我就说我女神怎么在唱唱跳跳
？Really? Okay.
真的哦，当然这个是我的一种框架嘛，我就把你放在一个相对
真的，一开始认识
女神性的
你的时候，真的会这样觉得，会觉得哎，就是一个高知女性，就是
对，
就是那种优雅的，然后就是端着的这种感觉。Yes， 会 ，Yeah
然后发现原来是逗逼是吗？
对，
其实我就是对啊 ，OK，
对
啊。怪不得呢，所以就是取关我的人就是 Mark 这样的人，因为我每次发跳舞视频，有一堆人取关，然后还有人说我没想到你是这样的人，笑死我了。然后就是yeah, that was an interesting thing too. That was interesting. I am many different layers. I think maybe because with the video, I have the perfect angle, I have the perfect filter, I look the way I look, I take care of my appearance. So that says a lot about a person's professionalism, I guess, but if you just get to know me a little bit, it just not even dig that deep, just like this deep, like I am all kinds of monster, like not monster, I'm all kinds of things. So yeah,
it's a fun personality that's underneath all this kind of
definitely a party person too, like I love parties, I love gatherings, I am just like, but I also have a weird energy streak that would just be like really high and then boom and then done, like I'm ready to go home, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I do
remember I went on the mic one day that was a little bit drunk. Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Well, that's a different side of me too, right?
Right, that too. And the whole time he was like making fun of me. He's like JUJU being the early bird, like for old people, And then so I was like, Mark is like, hello.
I know I'm typically like very respectful, careful for what I say.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know JUJU for a little bit, like to be able to understand my jokes.
I did.
And then also Kai was really nice, kind of, bounced off my jokes a little bit.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
he was all over the place. He was just making jokes after jokes and tipsy and like drunk, like driving
I was tipsy and driving.
And driving. He's like, I'm just here to kind of to have you keep me like focused because I'm driving home now, and at the same time, like somehow with the influence, driving under influence, you're still very witty and smart and on point, like everything, you didn't miss a thing. Kai and I were making jokes or talking, and you got all of them, and you participated, you joined, and by the end you're like, okay, I'm home, I can go now, bye, thank you for the time. I'm like, wow. Yeah, he was making all kinds of jokes. But yeah. So we many different sides of us. But I also kind of like realize how people expect to be understood or to be seen, to be heard. Like in my case, all I want is because I feel how other people feel. So I also want people to feel how I feel. But because I am a complicated being, everybody is, it's impossible for another person to completely get you and understand you, like hoping someone to understand you is just kind of not very likely, So yeah.
But JUJU, you did a very bold move. You had a really bold move a couple of days, no, probably a couple of months ago. JUJU 在前面有一段时间做了一件事情，他突然间在他的滤镜里面不加美颜了。
不加美颜，大概有，
但是又加回来啦，
又加回来
了。但是他，我在想说，the woman has over 100,000 followers on this platform. How many right now?
125,000.
Yeah, like that's a bold
Yeah.
move, actually, I have to say. Like all of a sudden you stop to use the filters, but why?
Okay. This is also really interesting because about filter, I had a change of understanding or perception in the very beginning, like before filters was a thing, like you're just who you are, right? You're just talking whatever, and then filter came, you're like, wow, I can look much better with no effort. Okay, I just need to have eyeballs, and I'm a gorgeous person, you know. Anybody is pretty with a filter. So I started using filter, and when people criticize me for using a filter, I defended myself by saying, you know what, it's my right, it's my freedom. And also for the majority of people who follow me, they will not see me in real life. So it's okay, they will never meet me. And the people who actually meet me are my friends, then they wouldn't care. That's my idea, okay? But then, like you said, a few months ago, I had a change of mind. I felt like I needed to be more truthful and real with myself and with my audience. And so I took off the filter, and you know, you see a face. It's not a bad face, but it's definitely not perfect. And you see all these imperfections, right? With age, like literally at 42, what are you going to expect, you know? So I felt really good, actually. I felt really good. And now I added it back just for convenience of not worrying of how I look, and focus on the content of what I say. And then the message I want to give. So now I feel like I am at a stage of, if I want to use it, I use it. If I don't want to use it, I don't use it. It's just my choice. It's both me. They are both me. And it's okay. Yeah.
That's a huge progress, I have to say.
Yeah.
That's a huge progress.
It's
yeah.
Like, yeah, because we talk very briefly about, you know, 容貌焦虑啊, you know, 就是真的谁都有, everybody, 就男生女生都有, right? Just whoever, who doesn't want to look nice, you know? 你再怎么说, don't judge a book by the cover. We freaking judge the book out of the cover.
Well, I would say don't judge a book by its cover, but why wouldn't you use the cover to attract more audience? What's the problem? I mean,
yeah,
come
no
on
problem.
and read my content, right?
Turn off
the page and read the content.
How about having the cover and content at the same time?
Yeah,
I have the covers
absolutely.
and I have the content. Yeah, there's nothing wrong about looking nice and wanting to look nice and pursuing the concept of beauty of the experience of the appearance and beauty of the inside, you know. So so just, you know, if you want, it's like people fighting about making up, putting makeup on, you know. 就是女生之间的一种雌竞也好啊，或者互相的指称也好，说啊她化妆了，她不自然，那个人就啊这个那哥哥我从来不化妆，姐姐脸上妆好浓啊，就是绿茶那种啊，是吧？就是哎，就是各种化妆啊，这种之类的，就是跟美颜也是一样的 ，same thing。你愿意打扮你就去打扮，你不愿意打扮就不打扮。真正的自由是想做什么做什么，不想做什么就不做什么 ，OK？So everybody has their own right, you know， 就跟生小孩不生孩，你爱生不生嘛，都不生就是自由啦，都不化妆就都是美啦，就真实啦，也并不是吧。It's not the same, you know. It's yeah. 但是 we're all visual animals, you know. 你可以说你不会被美丽的事情吸引吗？不可能啊。所以我是觉得，就是我的 followers 也很奇怪，因为我的 followers 我希望更多吸引到一些女性的观众，但是呢，哎，这个一个是就是作为女性主播肯定会吸引到男性的这个观众，这是一个。还有一个呢，我觉得跟我的这个就是这种人设有点关系，因为看上去太好像什么都很好的样子哈，就有距离感，对不对？所以女性观众不一定觉得想要跟这个人产生链接，所以其实除去滤镜是一个和女性观众建立链接的一个好的方式 ，which is the people I want to reach. I really actually want to reach more female audience because
can you? I know there's 有后台数据嘛？那你后台数据有没有观察一下？就是多少%是男性，70%
是男性，Yeah。
就
现在好一点了，好像现在67%了。现在就是哎，3个里边有2个是男性，1个是女性嘛？对。我希望多一些。就是女
性会觉得有一种 competition 是吗？就是如果你长得太就是这么优秀的一个女生。
对，不会跟我做朋友的，我干嘛要听他说？对，会，
我从来没有考虑到这个啊。
对，有像那个著名影星迪丽热巴， 迪丽热巴长得太漂亮了，很多人都担心她一出道就被火，所以就给她做了一个人设，叫什么吃货人设，你知道吗？叫她胖迪，就是她说她爱吃东西，然后一下子她跟观众的距离就会拉近。但这个是商业操作了，对吧？但确实特别漂亮，然后又有才华的女性，她确实会在某种程度上会给某一些喜欢雌竞的女性会带来一点点压迫感吧。可能会这样子，
对，
你刚才用到什么词？
不亲切，
雌竞，
对，就是雌性竞争，雄竞也有，
雄竞也有啊，雄竞也有，
雄竞也有。
哎，看我这里这个肌肉，谁的肌肉会比更大一点？
对，然后涉及到所有的方面，就比这个比那个，比这个比那个，但是它特别是女性气质的比较和男性气质的比较，然后就硬去比女性的一些东西啊，或者是反正就之类的吧，反正就不是一个好的词汇。It's a negative thing.
Yeah, very negative word.
Yeah,
very negative.
Yeah.
JUJU, what about this? Like, can you like you mentioned that you could be touched by a lot of things, right? You could be compassionate to a lot of things, but are you afraid to show your vulnerability to people? When you're being,
it's funny,
vulnerable, yeah,
being vulnerable has so much traffic. Lindsay and Mark. Next time you're out of things, just start crying, just start bawling. You get so people watch you.
Really?
Am I like?
Wow.
Am I like not okay? Okay, so being vulnerable is well, technically speaking, is a quickest way to establish this kind of connection. People see that you are being weak and vulnerable. They want to protect you. So I think it's actually a really good strategy, but don't do it when you are not feeling weak. I actually had a few saved videos that I never posted of me like literally crying because I was just thinking of things or something like that, and I chose not to post it. I don't know, because 还是有人设压力吧 or something, I don't know. But in the beginning of my because I've been doing it for more than 2 years, so in the first year, 就在第1年的时候还有一些非常可爱的瞬间，就是当时我就是有感受我就发了，然后我受伤的那一次我就是拍视频也是有点在哭，但是呢还是比较真实的。然后还有一次是什么，就是账号被封掉了，然后我说我要跟大家 say 拜拜了，因为没有账户了，怎样就是说了一些关键词被卡掉了，你知道吗？然后我就学乖了，我就下次我就不再去说这些事情。然后就是那样的话，大家就会立刻就跟你产生一种链接，所以我觉得 vulnerability 实际上真的是一件好事情。But I am a little worried. I don't know, worried about what. I don't want people to see me, I guess, cry or suffer, although it's part of me. And because I kind of hope like through my sharing, I want to give people some strength, or maybe younger ladies a little bit of role model, as in like, it's okay. Life is gonna be okay. Being in your 40s is gonna be okay, or some kind of support. Because when I was in my 20s or 30s, I often felt lost and confused, and I didn't have many people to look up to and say, you know what, this person is doing what I want to do and it's going to be okay, So I kind of want to do that to people, for people, and especially girls. I feel like they can kind of use me as an example. Of course, they don't have to do exactly what I did, but you know what I mean? Kind of a role model. That's what I had hoped to do. And then because the fact of this channel has many more male followers, I still have, like, if it's only 1 out of 3, I still have, I don't know, like 30,000 girls, so that's still a lot of people. I still can hopefully impact them. But I think at the end of the day, it boils down to what comes natural and easy for me, right? So I can think of all the things that my audience would like, and then I'll try to find this matching energy I have. But sometimes I just don't have that, and then I end up not doing it. So what I mean is I think there's still a lot of potential for me to discover, but I haven't really tapped into that, and vulnerability is one of them. I haven't been really, really completely open yet. Like removing the filter is one of the steps. Removing the filter and freaking cry, that would be like 就修成了，你知道吗？你就真的就是可以放下自我了，还没到那一步，okay? Still not there yet, but Yeah.
有在强撑，我看你最近那个视频，你有在强撑，说着说着哽咽了，然后又继续忍一忍，又继续说了，对。
有吗？
对，
这么明显吗？
有，你有一个视频讲说when you were doing this internship selling stuff in the supermarket and an old lady came and helped you and said something nice to you and then you just somehow you were that this close to cry and they just hold it back. 有哽咽了一秒，然后对，有忍住，
哇，
但是我觉得但是我觉得我们刚才讲的什么共情啊sympathy 啊这些的哭，对吧？它也不是 vulnerability 啊，就是我觉得如果我更深挖一点啊，就是我不知道这是不是 Lindsay 问问题的原来的本意，但是我想了解的就是说，你不是说有 midlife crisis 吗？那这一份的这种 vulnerability，
我是想都不敢想的，
就是更 personal 的，就是更 personal。Forget about the audience, forget about you being fans. You just JUJU, right? JUJU that I know as a friend. 就是在你的生活中的这种 vulnerability， 你的想法，在你的这些有一些 moments 的时候，你觉得哎，我到底在干什么？或者是所谓的 midlife 就是对你整个生活的这种
反思
不满意，其实就是
那种
就这个 vulnerability 你是
怎么去处理？
第一个有没有？第二个就是怎么如果有的话是怎么去想？怎么去
不会处理completely lost. OK， 昨天还刚哭过，don't know. OK， 我刚发现，我是完全不知道，所以 Mark 要知道可以跟我说一下。
没有，就是因为我跟你差不多的年纪，但是我觉得，所以说我想学嘛，因为我会想这些东西。I have a lot of questions the same way as you do, but I don't have answers either. So a lot of times when I'm communicating with Lindsay, communicating with Ken or Michael, I'm trying to almost like forecast, right? I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to forecast to say, let's see how JUJU, who I look up to, let's see Michael, who I look up to, that would, and particularly fish. Oh my God, like I love talking to fish, right? Like how do they deal with that? What's their perspective?
I have no answer. I am just modeling this, like I'm just trying to survive.
摸着石头过河是吗？
对，摸石头过河，然后就是因为在镜头面前或在朋友面前，还是会想要表现的比较好一些，比较正面一些，但自己一个人的时候，实际上是一团糟的，就是很多想不明白也不知道的事情。我觉得这个 midlife crisis 来自于你身体机能的衰退嘛，对不对？你有些不能做的事情，或你知道你的 limits 是什么，然后因为你身体的 limits 引起了你精神上也会觉得自己有一些 limits，所以甚至你会觉得把整个人生看作一个时间轴的话，我们已经过半了嘛，对不对？而且就这一半和那一半是不公平的 ，OK， 前面一半是然后下一半是所以就是有一种 What do I look forward to? What do I look forward to? 如果你没有 hope 在前面，你期待什么？你想要做什么？你还有什么动力往前走？如果你能看到的只是一年比一年糟糕的话，对不对？所以
对，但理论上来说，应该是后面也还是除了这个身体上的一些 limit 之外，但理论上来说也还是有很多就是一年会比一年好的东西，比如说可能一些工作的压力或者是经济上的压力相对会不会那么的强，因为孩子慢慢长大了嘛，然后就是比如说更有一些时间去看一些东西呀，去做一些东西就是我的意思就是说，至少现在来说我还是觉得我的每一年 because I have a very particular date that I reflect on my life, right? So that's my birthday. Very simple, right? On your birthday, you get 1 year older, at least on age, but you look back and you look forward, kind of. At least I look back and I look forward. So far, it has been great. I'm looking forward to the next year that's yet to come.
Okay, right.
就是因为我还是觉得小孩子，哎呀，我会觉得小孩子长大，小孩子 accomplish 各种 things， 然后我会去 travel 更多的地方啊，就是 I have a lot to look forward to. That's why I'm asking you. Don't you think that you have just theoretically, you should have a lot to look forward to?
Theoretically, yes, but emotionally, I can get to a point where I feel very pessimistic about things. But rationally, I do. I think that's one of my topics. My next video, I'm gonna be talking about what's the good things about being old. 就或者 aging 有哪些好处哈？1, 2, 3，然后列出来，就是也是试图洗脑我自己，convince myself, trying to convince myself. I think yes. Realistically, you can do all these things like ChatGPT tells me. Develop new hobbies, discover new passion. Do gardening. I'm like. F gardening, like I hate gardening. what is gardening, So
that's hire a better looking gardener. That's my
yeah. That's maybe midlife crisis of something. But I do think like having someone to look up to who is in their older age. Like there's a podcast that I listened to last year, but this year they start charging, so I haven't listened to it. It's she is in Seinfeld, she's the Veep, Julia Dreyfus. She has a podcast called Wiser Than Me. She's in her 50s or 60s. She interviews women older than her, like Jane Fonda. Okay, Jane freaking Fonda. She interviews.
Jane Fonda is like forever old.
Legend. Oh my God. So she interviews these women and then talk about life and aging and all that. I got so much inspiration from that. I need to go back and listen to that, I guess. But like that makes you think, like, because you're not the oldest, you're like, what do older people say? Do actually old people say, So I guess I'm just like in fear of aging, in fear of what goes away as we age.
Yeah, I've been talking to my shifu. My shifu is also my friend, right? She's 12 years older than me. But the difference is that she could be wise most of the time, right? But sometimes she's pretty vulnerable as well. Like she has the similar kind of struggling in her life, and I might be the person to help her a little bit, just talk to her by talking to her and, being there, right? So the thing is, I do think like different generations, women, men, women, right? Different generations do have different kind of struggles. So I don't know, like sometimes we could get inspired by that, but sometimes we do have this kind of feeling that, wow, things are seriously just breaking down, right? Like when you wake up in one morning and you just, okay, so here, okay, my arm hurts and then my foot hurts and somewhere my body hurts and I don't feel happy today. And somehow you just had this kind of feeling, right? So like earlier you mentioned when you were about to be in that box, you would do something to avoid it, right? So what is the thing that you usually do to avoid yourself being in that box again?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm glad you pulled us back from digging ourselves into the midlife crisis, which I have no answer of, and I can't bring anything positive. But yes, so what do I do to get myself out of the box or to say no to that box? Okay, to distract myself. I start with food. I love food. I would make myself 螺蛳粉 or whatever, garbage food I can find. And then I eat it. And then I binge watch some stupid show. One of my favorite shows is called Crazy Ex-Girlfriends. One singular, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's a musical. Anyway, so I watch that. That makes me feel a little bit better. And then I know I should exercise, but I don't. Okay. I talk to a friend. I find someone to talk to. I sometimes don't just directly tell them my problem or what I'm feeling. I just kind of reach out by like, how are you doing? What's up? Let me know something. And then I distract myself by feeling for other people's feeling. Because here's my superpower. My superpower is empathy, right? So when I'm feeling too much for myself, I need to stop feeling for myself and start feeling for others. So when others' problem or others' life have something interesting, I'm going to empathize with that. And then that's when I found myself. And when I found myself, I found my self-worth and purpose. And then I'm a little bit back. Instead of feeling depressed and sad, I find, I am valuable, And that's basically what I do. What else? I take a walk sometimes. And like I said, I would pretend to read a book. I just sit in the sun and I don't read a book, but I pretend. And that helps so far. I make myself to go to the gym sometimes. I make myself do something. And those always helps too. But it seems to be hard when you're physically already kind of down to pull yourself to do exercise, So I would suggest people to start with whatever, even if you can just move one finger, okay, move something. You could start somewhere small and slowly bring your whole body and whole being out of that darkness instead of being sucked in when you are already like seeing a possibility of that. Yeah.
Well, that's very impressive, I have to say. But we're gonna have the last question of this personal interview part. But you say your superpower is having the empathy. But if you were to have a real superpower, what kind of superpower you would like to have? Like you have no responsibilities and consequences.
Yeah. I should have prepared. I don't know. I still don't know. Okay. I can eat whatever I want and don't gain weight. 有副作用，不会拉肚子 ，OK？ Yeah, I can eat whatever I want and have no consequences. Okay, absolutely no consequences.
Love it.
吃都不胖，哎，这个蛮好的。
Eat whatever I want, all the delicious food in the world, and not have any consequence. So that's my superpower. Isn't it nice? Yeah.
万万没想到会是这个。Never expected this. I thought you would be like flying, or you would be like, I don't know, like time travel.
Well, this is very practical. I'm also a very pragmatic person. I was like, what's practical for me?
Yeah, probably it's gonna happen someday in the future. Like get yourself a I don't know, like 吃都不胖的这个 superpower， 搞不好哪天真的可能会有。
Oh, yeah.
科技这么发达
Hopefully. I don't know. Yeah, let's hope. Yeah.
Let's hope for the
Mark is
best.
muted.
Yeah, so this is JUJU， 我们的酷酷侠JUJU。我们今天做的，哎，真的了解，
太高兴了，太高兴了。
Oh, thank you guys so much. Yeah. I was thinking how podcast is really just about getting to know this person, and it feels very private too, because it's the only three of us, and the people who listen to us are very private too. They're listening not in a public place. They're probably just listening at, in their room or something. So it does feel very personal. So yeah, but thank you so much for this. I feel like I was talking a lot without hitting the points, but do your magic with whatever. And
this is a great episode, I have to say. This is a great episode. I seriously like the conversation we had. I seriously like it.
Great. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Thank you, JUJU. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lindsay. All right. So I'll see you around. Yeah.
Yes, we'll catch up with each other soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.